On a certain road, 10% of the motorists exceed the posted speed limit. Let's take a pause. 10% of the motorists exceed the posted speed limit. What does that mean? Actually, no, sorry. Posted speed limit and receive speeding ticket. Okay. And something else. So let's say there are a total of 100 cars, motorists on that road. Out of those 100 motorists, 10 do both these things. They exceed the speed limit and they receive tickets also. So the actual number of people who exceed the speed limit might be more than 10. We don't know yet. What we know is those people who exceed the speed limit and receive tickets, that number is 10% of what? Of the motorists, of all the motorists on that road. Okay. But 20% of the motorists who exceed the posted speed limit. Now, it's essential that we understand 20% of what, right? I mentioned this in day 2 itself. Whenever we come across percentages, it's our job to understand what's the part, what's the whole. 10% of what? 10% of all motorists. 10% of all motorists. And then 20% of what? 20% of the motorists who exceed the posted speed limit. Okay. So we're talking about a subset of motorists. We're talking about those motorists who exceed the posted speed limit. I also recall exceed the posted speed limit is the same as the first condition mentioned for those 10% people, right? Those people also exceeded the posted speed limit. Okay. 20% of all people who exceed the posted speed limit do not receive speeding tickets. Interesting. So there are some people who do exceed the speed limit but don't receive tickets. And we know there are 10% of all drivers who do exceed speed limit and they do receive tickets. Okay. What percent of the motorists on the road exceed the posted speed limit? What percent of all the motorists exceed the posted speed limit? So, although all the options are anyway telling me that, tell me why does the answer need to be more than 10%? It is, right? All options are more than 10%. Can we understand the reason for why the answer has to be more than 10%? Let's say there were another option here, 9%. I could eliminate that right away. Why? Because when they tell us in the first sentence that 10% of the motorists exceed speed limit and receive ticket, they also tell me in the second half of that sentence that 20% of those people who exceed speed limit don't receive tickets. Oh, so there are some people who exceed the speed limit but don't receive tickets. And then there are some people who exceed speed limit and do receive tickets. So exceed speed limit. Then there are some people who get tickets. And then there are some people who don't get tickets. What the question is asking for is what percent of the motorists on the road, that's the same thing, exceed the speed limit. So we have to figure out overall this percentage. We know exceeded speed limit and got tickets. This figure is 10%. So this figure here anyway will be more than 10%. That much we can understand straight away. That's what's going on here. Let's stay on the screen only for a second more. And let's think about that 20% figure. 20% of what? And what is this 10% of? So is this 10% of those people who exceeded the speed limit? No, this is 10% of all motorists on the road. Similarly, this more than 10% will also be of all motorists on the road. This 20% here, though, those people who don't get tickets, this 20% is of those people who exceeded the speed limit, right? Which is a subset of all motorists. It's essential that we are clear about these things, right? How they relate and all that, we'll get into those things, but it's essential that we don't mess up what's the part, what's the whole when it comes to percentages. Anyone unclear about any aspect on this screen? We're not done with the question yet, but anyone unclear about any of these aspects? All right, let's carry on. So if 20% of the motorists who exceed the speed limit, if 20% of these people do not receive speeding tickets, what percent of those people receive speeding tickets? Of those people, same people. 20% of this specific set of people. These specific people who exceed speed limit, 20% of these people do not receive tickets. So that means 80% of these people who exceed speed limit do receive tickets. Right? This is an inference we can draw. 20% of the people in my house are younger than 20 years. That means 80% of the people are older than 20 years. Same thing here. If 20% of those people who exceeded the speed limit did not receive tickets, that means 80% of those people would have received tickets. Why am I thinking about this? Because I want to relate this piece of information with the first part. I know that 10% of all motorists exceed speed limit and receive tickets. So I'll relate with that portion. I've understood what this 10% is a portion of. I've understood what this 80% is a portion of, right? We spend time with these things. Now, in this question, can we take the total number of motorists to be 100? Here we can. Yes, we can. Right? Everything is in percentages. We're dealing with total motorists and everything. Here we can very well take total motorists to be 100. Maybe that will make my life simpler. All right. So what's the question? What percent of the motorists on the road exceed the posted speed limit? So basically, number of motorists who exceed the speed limit divided by total number of motorists as a percentage. That's what I have to figure out. No, now let's say total motorists is 100. What do I know already? I know that 10% of these people have those two things. They exceed speed limit also and they get tickets also. So basically 10 people, 10 motorists exceed speed limit and get tickets. Now, this portion here, 20% exceed and do not receive. So we learned that 80% exceed and receive. So this 80% of this subset, of what subset? Of those people who exceed speed limit is the same as those 10 people. Right? These are the people who've exceeded speed limit and have received tickets. And that's what we're dealing with in the second line also. Anyone who didn't get this, how I'm saying that those 10 people basically are those 80%. Okay. Now, 80% of those people who exceeded speed limit is equal to 10. Remember, what do I have to figure out? This whole thing here. So in this whole thing, anyway, total number of motorists, denominator is anyway 100, right? That's what I've taken. I have to figure out how many motorists exceed the speed limit. So basically, let me just call this variable x. So right now, where am I? 80% of x equals 10. I have to figure out x. So 80% of x means 80 by 100 times x equals 10. So what is x? 10 times 100 upon 80, right? I solve 100 by 8. That's 12.5. So 12.5 is the number of motorists who exceed speed limit. How come I'm getting a decimal? Because I took the total motorists to be 100. That's why I'm getting a decimal, which tells me that the actual number of motorists will not be 100. Maybe it will be 200 or something like that. But anyway, I have to figure out a percentage, so I don't mind. I plug in that 12.5 here and times 100. That's my percentage. So the answer is B, 12.5%. Not E, which surprisingly was the most common answer. Close to half of you selected E. Chalo, before I ask you about that, tell me, everything that you see on the screen, AC, you see? We'll discuss one more approach also. Now tell me, how did you guys get 30? Those of you who got 30 as your answer, E, how did that happen? 20 plus 10, was it? Quite surprising. Yeah, so you took 20% also as of all the motorists. So you basically did 20 plus 10, Elena. Got it. Okay, I understand how 30 came. So 10% of all motorists, 20% of all motorists. So total how many? 10 plus 20, 30. Got it. Then this question must have seemed extremely easy to you guys. All right. Let's discuss another approach. So the key here was understanding what the question's saying, right? Notice that again. Even before we get into the mathematics of it all, it was about reading skills. You'll be surprised how many times we get questions wrong in quant because we didn't understand what was said or what was asked. Mathematics comes way later. All right, let's discuss another approach, double matrix. So motorists who exceeded speed limit, who did not exceed speed limit, those who received tickets, those who did not receive tickets. Now let's see. Again, we'll assume that the total number of motorists is 100. Now let's get into it. What's this 10%? Those people who exceeded the speed limit and received tickets. So what cell would that 10% represent? This one here. 10%, basically 10% of all motorists. So 10% of 100, that's 10. And then let's say the total number of people who exceeded speed limit is S. Why am I taking this? Because I have this figure now. 20% of these people do not receive tickets. So 20% of these people do not receive tickets. They exceed speed limit, but they don't receive tickets. So 20% of S comes here, which tells me, basically, I can straight away create an equation 10 plus 20% of S equals S, or I can think of it this way, that this 10 is equal to 80% of S. Right? That's the equation I've created. And then it's a matter of solving. I get S equals 12.5. I won't get confused by this number, that how come the number of motorists who exceeded the speed limit is 12.5. It's not the number. 12.5 would be the number had the total motor speed 100. But anyway, that was my number, 100. So which tells me that the total motors would not be 100. It would be some number which gives us a whole number here also. But as far as figuring out a percentage is concerned, I don't care. I don't mind. I'll just divide 12.5 by 100. Total number of motorists times 100, I get 12.5%.